This is Sabrina from Sabrina Hashim and Company. I'll be sharing with you what companies do when planning to buy a product that can be goods or services. In this conversation, I'll be talking about a buyer buying a product. So the first thing you need to do is to have an objective to ensure that the product you are buying is of value for money and it's of reliable quality. So then once you've established the objective, you would want to know what is the background of the whole intention of the contract relationship. So you would want to know how the parties will meet their contract obligations, ultimately meeting the buying objectives. Secondly, you will want to build a mutually beneficial working relationship between the buyer and the seller of the product. And thirdly, you want to make sure that you will be able to anticipate future buying needs and requirements. So once you've done all that, what should be the next steps? So you will be going through the planning process. You will collect and analyze product specifications from the sellers, right? Once you know all that, you will then decide, you specify what exactly that you want, the requirements of the product, how good it will be, how will it fit your requirements, and how the system will work for you. Thereafter, once you've got all the information collected, you will want to analyze the information so that you identify the risks, you understand the risks, and you will be able to manage the risks. Next step is that you assemble your team. Yeah, this team will then look at the whole life cycle of the contract. So you have teams that will be identifying objectives and requirements. You've got teams drafting the contract, negotiating the contract, and thereafter managing the contract upon its signature. So when you have the contract preparation done up, yeah, you're going through that process, what exactly that the contract team will need to do. So you've got your lawyers coming in, and then your lawyers will need to know what sort of contract that is applicable to the purchase of the product that you're trying to get from the seller. Then you look at the intention, the objectives. So you've got your objectives, and then you look at the obligations and how you're going to get those obligations to meet the objectives of buying the product. Then you look at the associated risks, from the operating to the industry and the technical issues that concerns when buying such a product. Thereafter, the legal department will then look at the legislative and the regulatory issues, yes, to ensure that the product operates according to the applicable law. Once you have that, so the key questions that you need to ask, yeah, everyone in the team needs to ask, what needs to be done, by when, and by whom and by when. So identify each party's obligations, terms and conditions. How will the parties' roles and responsibilities be performed? Identify the resources, the delegations, and the authorizations. Who gets to do this, who gets to prove it, and at the end of the day, the authority that is going to sign the contract. And then you will then need to look at the consequences of non-performance or default. So identify contingency plan, dispute resolution mechanisms. So overall, this is the whole entire life cycle of a contract. Once you sign it, it doesn't stop. So we've looked at, let me take this. You look at the planning. So you've done the planning. You've specified your requirements. You probably want to tender out the request for proposal, asking proposals from third parties to come in with their products and quote for you. Then you negotiate the terms, you get the contract signed. At the end of the day, you probably want to do some variation, you need something else, or you need to remove something else, and then you manage performance and compliance. Once the whole contract tenure or term of the contract is about to expire, you then decide whether you want to review, renew, or retender the whole entire project. So ultimately, once the contract is signed, doesn't mean that it stops there. The contract is a living document, so it goes on until completion is done and you're happy and with the product that you have purchased. So that's it in a nutshell. Yeah, thank you, and I'll see you again. Take care. Bye.